And hello YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of The Zone TV Movie Entertainment with me, your host Jonathan, once again bringing you my thoughts and review for today's episode of X-Men 97, Episode 6. And oh boy, what a great two-story episode this was. Because there was literally two different stories in this episode, and they were both glorious. So I'm going to start with the simple one, the one we've been waiting for, the one, you know, we've been seeing little previews here and there, like, oh, is this character gonna come back to her glory and all the goodness that she does? And the answer is yes. I'm talking about Storm. Storm hanging out with Forge after she kind of got depowering. She lost herself. She needed to go find herself. She just, you know, didn't feel like she belonged with the X-Men anymore. So she goes to search herself. She finds Forge, falls in love. Fortunately, Forge gets knocked out by some weird, you know, ego-looking demon thing, you know, poisoning him. And Storm has to go and find some flour to heal him. While that's all happening, she finally, she's getting taunted by this thing, saying that you're weak, you don't need him, you never were strong, and all the jazz. Till she realizes, like, this is all in her head, this is all in her mind, that this entity is, like, messing with her. So she finally embraces the fact that who she is as a person, as a mutant, and then she does it. She gets her powers back, and Storm is back in all her glory. And this time, not rocking her white traditional colors, but she's rocking, I would assume her new comic book colors, which is the black, costume that she has, and looking beautiful. I'm talking awesome. You see Storm and the thunderstorms coming around her, the wind and everything, and she's just embracing who she is and realizing that, being Storm may be a gift, but it also comes from inside her. And I thought that stuff was all great. She manages to defeat the so-called demon thing. She heals Forge, and everything goes back to crystal clear until she ends up hearing the stuff about Genosha. She starts to cry, and her story kind of ends from right there. But now I want to talk about the big story that was in this episode as well, because it was a two-part episode. Not a two-part episode, it was more of a two-story episode in this. And the first part of it, because they went back and forth, it was the grand return of Charles Xavier. That's right, Charles Xavier did not die. If you guys remember the original X-Men TV show, he was lying on his deathbed, and Alundra from space, she comes down and she takes him to her planet to heal him, to make him comfortable and see what she could do to, help him out with after the whole, that crystal stuff that they had to deal with and the Phoenix Force. So she takes him away. The X-Men say goodbye. But I guess to the public, Charles Xavier is dead. I guess maybe the X-Men told the public that, or something happened where maybe they got their memories wiped out. I'm not really sure, because there were moments in the first episode of this new show where Cyclops was like, "Oh yeah, you murdered Professor X." So what was that about? Not really sure, but he's actually alive. He's always been alive this entire time, and he's now in space with Alundra. They're in love. They want to be married. They want to be the empress and the emperor of her kingdom. Unfortunately, he's got to go through some trials and basically saying, "Hey, if you want to marry her, we're cool with that, but you got to forget about your human past life with hanging out with those other humans and stuff, and forget about that, moving our planet near them, and because their galaxy's far, far away. No pun intended from Star Wars, but literally far, far away, and they don't want to get anywhere near, I guess, the Earth area or our galaxy system. So, Alundra's sister's like, "Hey, listen, you want to do this? It's cool, but you gotta wipe your memory. And my sister's our Empress is the only one who can do that to you." So Charles Xavier, being the slick guy that he is, and of course he actually gets to walk in this show because Alundra gave him, I guess, legs, like robotic legs to walk around. He's got the slick armor on. It looks pretty cool. So Charles Xavier has been a very busy boy throughout this entire thing so far. And then something happens where some people start to rebel, and then he just like, you know what? I just realized something. I'm not acting like myself right now, and he just starts using his powers against everybody. He puts him into literally a classroom in the cosmos, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna teach you about lessons here." That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen him do. There are moments he's like, "Hey, you got to raise your hand before you ask a question." That was some good stuff right there. And then of course he ends up getting a flash, I guess a psychic vision, while he's in a psychic vision of seeing Gambit and all the other mutants getting destroyed, basically saying, "Hey, Genosha got damaged. We need you back in Earth." So he gets that psychic blast in his head, and he kind of collapses. And he's telling his beloved, like, "Hey, listen, I gotta go back to Earth. I don't want to go back, but I have to go back. My X-Men needs me. Everybody needs me, and I need to go back." So this episode was great. Seeing Charles Xavier use his powers on other beings who by the way hang out with people like Gladiator, who's kind of like a Superman alien kind of a character. He's got heat vision, super strength, and all that, and use it and tricking his mind to believing he's in the classroom. Unbelievable. People like that getting schooled by Charles Xavier. Yeah, Charles Xavier ain't no pushover. You mess with him, you're gonna get killed. And like, oh my goodness, I really can't wait to see him come back to the X-Men, because he's the glue that holds the team together. Yeah, I love Cyclops, and I want him to be the leader that he's supposed to be, and he is the leader. But without his guiding force to help him be that strong leader, it doesn't feel it doesn't feel right. It needs to be connected with all the pieces, kind of like the Ninja Turtles. Look, here's an example. The Ninja Turtles are great, right? You got Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo. They're all brothers. They're all, one team. They all do their thing. Leonardo's the leader. We all know that. But who's their guide? Who is their mentor, their main guide who's basically their father figure? Who makes them strong to be able to do what they do? Master Splinter. The same thing here in the X-Men. Professor X is that guiding force that makes the X-Men be strong. And when they slip up, he tells them, hey, he gives them a lesson. He tells them what they got to do, how to fix it, and boom. So that way they learn if anything officially happens to him. So that way they be officially ready, because he thinks they're not ready yet. And he knows it. He can sense it. And just seeing him get those visions of Genosha, he sees I guess a vision of Gambit, and then turn into skeleton, and then all mutants get vaporized, including himself, and he gets back into his normal mode. That stuff was well crafted, so kudos on that. But yeah, Charles Xavier needs to get back to Earth. He needs to know what happened. Obviously, everybody's supposedly dead from Genosha, Gambit, Magneto, a couple other mutants, some members of the Hellfire Club. Obviously, they're gonna come back due to the fact that Cable was there and then he wasn't there. So eventually they'll come back, maybe in the next week's episode, maybe not even in the following episode, who knows, but they will be back. And then we find out who was really behind all this, the Genosha attack with the Sentinels Godzilla form. Mr. Sinister, why not? He's chasing Bolivar Trask, saying, hey, trust me, work with me, we can make this a better place. Because Mr. Sinister, he just wants to experiment on mutants and world domination and all that good stuff. So yeah, by taking out his enemies, yeah, he might do that, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. And if they do eventually get to the episode where Cable goes back in time, how is this going to affect the timeline? Is it going to make it worse? Will Apocalypse show up? Because I'm pretty sure, I still have this weird Nick feeling that Apocalypse is going to show up at the end of this thing to set up season 2 or the next, or 6 or whatever it was. If you combine it with the other 5, 7. If you combine it with 7, because this is 6 right now, and then season 2 will be 7 if you combine all together. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen now that Charles Xavier is coming back. Whoo! I'm excited. So, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Are you guys excited for X-Men 97 to get Charles Xavier back? Because even in the intro, they showed him. And now also the intro also has Nightcrawler in it as well. So if you look at that really closely, I love how they just new characters show up and add them into the intro. So I really like that. So that's great. They didn't show Gambit because he's dead in this timeline right now. But yeah, showing Xavier at the end in the intro shows he's coming back. And I'm excited for it. So leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about today's episode. Are you guys excited for it? Not excited for it? Not watching it? Why are you not watching it? You're not X-Men fans? Why aren't you not X-Men fans? Leave me a comment below. Let me know. Stay tuned for more. And thank you very much. And have a good day.